Hello everybody, good morning to one and all. I'm Kranth and I'll be teaching you Photoshop. And today is our second day of Photoshop. Yes, of course, we've been learning about Photoshop and how to use it. So the last time, when we had the class, the last class, we have learned what are the basics of Photoshop, like how to open a Photoshop or what is the toolbox that we have in the Photoshop. And of course, today we will be little going deep and we'll be introducing ourselves to the new tools, as I have shown you the toolbox of Photoshop, and though we were been learning about Photoshop, so as well today we will be learning about the tools. Let us start learning tools from today. We'll be learning about the tools from today, like what is first tool, what is the second tool, what is the third tool, and etc. and etc. So let us see how the Photoshop works as of now, and we are working on Photoshop 7.0, and this is a very good software to edit, to use, or to customize anything, because Photoshop is one of the basics of any softwares you take. For example, if you want to go for animations, multimedia, etc. and etc., the first thing that you have to remember is the best thing, the best software to start with is Photoshop, obviously, right? So Photoshop is one of the basic softwares that will help you anytime and every time whenever you want to edit and do something on the photos. All right, so let us see the interface of Photoshop here. So yes, we have been looking at the interface of the Photoshop. All right, so people, when I say about the interface of Photoshop, the basic thing that you have to remember is how to switch the tools, or how to open a new tab. For example, if I want to open a new tab, I'll just press Ctrl N, and I'll just title that. I can just title that by giving a name to it, and then you can put on the size whatever you want. Like there's a default Photoshop size where you have width as 7, height as 5 inches, and then resolution 72 pixels per inch. Usually this is a kind of good resolution, I can say it, but I prefer for you to always go for HD resolutions. If you can see 1290, or you have 1024 into 768. So I would rather prefer you to go into these high resolutions, because when you do editing in high resolutions, obviously you can have a very good output, like the clarity, or you'll have the amazing output when you finish the render. All right, so this is the interface, and I'll be putting A4 and I'm clicking OK. All right, so we have a basic interface here. I'll little maximize it, and right, so now people, we are into the selection tool. So come to the move tool by just pressing V. If you can see here, by pressing M, the tools move to selection tool, and if I press V, obviously the selection comes to the selection tool. So these two let us learn today. If possible, also let us go for selection tools also, but first let us look at what is a move tool and how do actually we have to work on the move tool. Or we have this selection tool where basically you can select anything and you can design, or you can put up the sidelines or anything. See, I'll tell you, you can put anything. So this is a mark tool, and in mark tool we have rectangular mark tool, ellipse mark tool, single row mark tool, single column mark tool. All right, so now before I go ahead and do this, I want you to make sure that you open a new layer. If you can put here, there is a pop-up which have come saying create a new layer. Right, I am creating a new layer and then start working. People always remember, never ever work on background, always work on a new layer. You can also name your layer. You can just name your layer by headings. All right, let us put this as headings, and I have saved it. So now I'll be only doing my work on this layer. Never ever go for this layer, or you can basically just never come into this, because when you do something here, most of the things never apply here, because the background is meant to have a support for the Photoshop work that you do. So let us put the headings here, and then let us use the first one, that is rectangular mark tool. Alright, so now I am basically concentrating on a beautiful wallpaper. Let us imagine we want to do an amazing wallpaper. Alright, so what I do, I'll just go for the custom color, you know, and then I'll just put heading, and then to apply color in this, to apply color only in this, you can say, you can just press Alt Delete. I have just pressed Alt plus Delete to fill that color into that box. Alright, Alt plus Delete to fill the color in this box. Alright, if you want to fill this color, I mean the background color, that is white here, just press Ctrl Delete, Alt Delete, Ctrl Delete. I'll give you a more example. I'll just go for the custom color again, and I'll take the dark color, let us see. Alright, so Ctrl Delete will apply the background color which you have here, and Alt Delete would apply the foreground color in this. And always remember, people, for duplicating this this thing, like, you know, if you want to duplicate this, you can just press Ctrl plus J. You know, the other thing have come. Let us select the move tool. See, I have duplicated this. You know, this is simply called as duplicating. If you want to rotate that, press -90. Done, right? So now apply and then move. You can slowly move by pressing side arrow, or shift plus side arrow will move it fast, quicker, more quicker. If you can see, it's moving more quicker. This is because I am pressing shift. Or you can basically use your left mouse button to move the things. So I am creating a basic template. Alright, so yes, so it's looking like a banner, isn't it? Like, you know, it's looking like a thing. Alright, so now what I'll do, I'll basically edit this. You know, if I want to give a text, or if I want to add a glass effect, you know, what I'll do, I'll go for background, I'll apply the foreground color by pressing Ctrl Delete. So I have added a color here, and if I want to make this as a glass effect, if I want to make these two as a glass effect, you know what I'll do? First, I'll merge this. You know how to merge. I am putting layer 1, selecting layer 1, Control plus headings, or you know, you can press the both, and then press both. Alright, now how to basically undo the selection, you know. So this is in a selection, right? This is like resolving. So Control D will make you deselect. Control D will make it deselect. So I have pressed Control D. I'll show you once again. So now it is in selection. So if I want to deselect this, just press Control D so that the selection will go off. Control plus D will make the selection go off. Alright, so this is the basic thing that we have started. And what I'll do, you know, Control D. So here there are both, and now I'll put the opacity to 60%. Alright, I'll also put the fill for let us take 80%. Right, good, isn't it? So now we can have the glass effect, or let us change the color of this. Alright, to get the color box, you just have to press Control U, Control plus U. People, I'll give you a basic example. Okay, because you people will forget, I'll note everything on Word, as we already have learned about Word. Let me tell you about the shortcuts, more shortcuts. Let us increase. Okay, I'll put the font as 22, and then I'll Control plus U for color box. This is for color box, and Control plus D equal to unselecting the object or the selection. You can just put unselecting, and Control plus L gives you a command for lighting. So as of now we have been doing this. Alright. So let's go to Photoshop back. So we are in the color box. By pressing Control U, we got the color box. So if you go for the saturation, see what is changing here. The color of the top tab is been changing, right? So you can basically put a color that matches your background. Yes, this, no. Let us make sure a nice thing comes up. Yeah, this has been actually, and you can put saturation, how much saturation you basically want, right? We can put this is also dark. Yes. Just to make it more darker, let's put some light. Alright, so now it's just looking a proper heading. And if you now give this, you know, people, always remember, once you go here, click, double click, you know, you will have a pop-up window. You know, once you double click on the layer on what you're working, you will get a layer style. You know, these layer style will help you in creating a nice shadows, or you know, putting more effects for all these. This basically will help you in, you know, customizing your background, in fact. All right. So before I do this, let me also change the background color. I'll put a nice background color. Let's put lavender color. Oh, don't. So yeah, I think now I can show you what is a glass effect here. Alright, so let's go for headings and then see how it works. Right, so now we'll double click on this so that we'll get the layer style, and then I'll apply drop shadow. Let's see how it looks. So the shadow have come already here. So to customize the shadow, I just have to double click on this, right? So you can see how it blends and how it works basically, right? So now I'll increase the distance a little bit, all right, and then I'll spread it and I'll increase the size. So what's making it's making a proper shadow impact, and I can also apply the angle which side the shadow have to be. You know, it's upside. Now the light is hitting from the down. The shadow comes upside. So I'll put it here so that the shadow will come down or in between. All right. So now if you want this shadow to be glittered, or if you want it to be counter, just increase the noise so that if you can see there's an effect happening out there, right? So don't do that. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes it's not necessary. It's just to make a realistic appearance. All right, so now I have applied a glass effect, if you can see. Now I'll put this on top. See now I'm editing this. I'll okay, now I'll take this, alright, and I'll do a basic editing. So guys, if you can see, I am just putting an amazing shadow effect and come glass effect, and I'll make this black color by controlling U. I'll change this to black. Okay. So look at this, we got an amazing glass effect here, which have a heading or something, and you can basically write on this now if you want, you can just put a basic text here, let's put up, it's in blue, so let us make it black, and then make it times. Now I'll apply APSSDC. This is not visible, I understand. So I'll first select this. Then obviously let us increase the font. That's all. So if you can see, we have the text folder, out of which I edit that again by, so we have the headings here. So to edit this, what I'll do, I'll just go for bold. You have the options here, or you can just press few options for direct things here. If you want to give it horizontally or vertically, you can go here. Alright. So this is what you have here, and if you want to elaborate it, I have just pressed Ctrl T for the options after selecting this. So if you want to increase the space between the font, you can. let's put 5. Oh, we haven't selected C. I have done a mistake. So let's go here. Select I have selected the entire, and then I'll apply bold, strong, go for bold. Okay. Now I'll hit Ctrl plus to move near to that. Alright. So now Alt plus Shift to make it elaborated. Okay. So I have applied here. Alright, to make it more darker, we have so many layers that have been created, so I'll select all. Okay, so we have been creating so many layers, so I'll just create this APSSDC in such a way that it will be visible, and I'll put it on top of everything so that it will be more visible, you know. So I'm putting on top of it everything, so now it is more visible, isn't it? So I'll go to a normal size. I think everybody can see that. Okay, so let us keep it at the end. Guys, always remember, whenever you use the Photoshop, your configuration of your laptops and computers should be really good, because the computer won't get stuck. So we have here. Alright, so this is what we have done, a basic heading. So it's really good, like, you know, really giving a good impact. Or if you want to make your background basically white, yes, it would also happen, people. So let's put it white and then apply that. Oops. Let's go for the background layer, and then I've given the white. So I think now you can see, you know, the heading properly. So this is how we work, people. So this is how we have done a basic mark tool. You know, if you can see, this is a mark tool which I have applied, and you know, if you want to create a table or something, you can use this single row or single column mark tools. And this is also the same, you know, but this just creates an oval shape, in fact. So I'll okay, see, that's the mistake we should never do. Create a new layer down and then work on it. Alright, so now create a basic oval or a circle if you want. Apply color, Ctrl D for deselecting it, and to make it more advanced or something, you can, you know, basically put shadows for that. You know, let's drop shadow and go into drop shadow, advanced options. You know, we have dropped the shadow now. Okay, I'll minimize it. Let's see what will happen. Yes, the distance have increased. I'll spreading it, and I'm increasing it. I'll reduce the distance. I'll spread it. I'll decrease the size. Yes, we have a proper shadow here. And I'll select the move tool, take this out here. Okay, so we have a proper shadow created. It looks so natural that there is an object placed on a white paper. It feels like a pure object that is being placed. So always make sure you use it. But people, I always want to remember you, whatever you do, try to put it in a layer. See, if I switch this off, I can whatever customizations I have this new layer. So I don't need to worry. At the same time, layer 1, if you can see, and we have effects that can be edited in the headings. See, for everything, if you have a layer, what happens if you want to edit that, you can basically edit that. Alright, so always remember people, so before I go for the next tool, before I go for the selection tool or anything, before I go for lasso tool, I just want you to remember how to save Photoshop. Because saving is something you people never ever do it whenever the work is in progress, because people remember if there is a power loss, or if there is a current fluctuations, or if there is a power fluctuations in your computer or in your house, if you don't save the file, the entire file you have to do it from the front first, right? So I'll tell you how to save. Always save the subject, save as. Let us save it in a proper way. Let's go for desktop. I'm creating a folder first. No, let us not save it on desktop. Let us go for, okay, let's just, anyway we have, so let us create APSSDC design. Alright, now I'll open the folder. Now always you have options here, people. Usually, if you want to save it in PNG, you can save it. You can save any options. But if you want to open the same work file, go for the PSD, Photoshop PSD format. Always try to click that Photoshop PSD format and then save it. I'll say it once again. If you want to save it, Ctrl save as. Alright, PSD, always put it in the PSD. If you want it as an image, just save it as JPEG. Alright, so this will help you. Always have the Photoshop saved as PSD format. Always you just have to save the format in PSD. Why? I'll tell you now. I'm saving it. Alright, yes, I have saved it. So now what I'll do, I'll close the Photoshop. See, I have done so many modifications here. I've done so many modifications. So let us imagine the power have lost. The power is lost. The power is lost and we have closed our Photoshop. So we have reopened it and we can't find anything here, right? So what will happen if you go there, if you open APSSDC design, you'll have the PSD file, right? Just double click, and once the Photoshop have opened, you have the work format same like you have saved it, right? The save as you saved it. Did anything miss here? No, right? So if you don't save it, it will never happen. And that is what you have to remember, people. So we are actually at we are actually at doing the headings, or doing a basic design for Photoshop. So we'll move up. Okay. So here there are layers. So we have so many layers out here. So you can also basically lock something if you want. Okay, so this is what we have been doing. So this is the basic way that we do it. All right. So we have created a heading and we have applied shadows and etc. and etc. So this is how we do it. So this is a basic usage of, you know, rectangular, elliptical, single, and mark tool. But whatever you do, basically remember that you people have to put that in a new layer, because new layer would obviously help you in understanding, or you know, putting you into a proper understanding way. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we have layer box. Okay. All right, so okay. All right. So now let us undo it. Something that have happened. All right. So now let us see what we can do with the ellipse tool. All right. So the next tool. Okay, we have covered two tools basically. Okay. So let us. The first one is mark tool. Which is basically used to create any selection, create any design, if you can say, or design any shape, you know, create any shape. You can basically create any shape here, and the shortcut of it is M. By straight away clicking M on your keyboard, you can get there. So that's what. And then we have selection tool, which results in getting selection. I mean, pointer, you know, there will be a pointer, and this will help you in selecting objects. Selecting objects, and the shortcut for this would be obviously V. Alright, so this is what we have covered, the both mark tool and selection tool. I'll say you once again. So if you can see the Photoshop here, this is how it looks like. I mean, by using mark tool, we can create so many things. We can create a headings in a, you know, in a digital format. We can add shapes. You know, if you want to put this, I'll select this. I'll hit Ctrl J for duplicate. Or did I mention that here? No, I haven't mentioned. So I'll also say Ctrl plus J is to make duplicate. Right. So this is another option that you have in the Photoshop in the shortcuts. So to make any duplicate, I already have made a duplicate, so now I'll move it. All right. All right, I have moved it properly, and now I will press Ctrl T for selection options. Okay, let me tell you that also. Ctrl plus T results in selection options. or transformation options, we can say. Just to remember people, how to minimize, maximize, calculate options of for the transformation, you can just hit Ctrl T. So once you select the object, press Ctrl T, you will get this box. So this box is a mandatory thing. Whenever you want to maximize or minimize, see, you can just click it here. You are maximizing it. Or if you want, see, this is happening in a different way, isn't it? So it might not happen in the same way you want, right? So I'll go back, and for you to have a proper scaling of the transformation, press Alt plus Shift. I have pressed Alt plus Shift, and now I am pressing it, and then I am transforming it. What is happening, people? When I have pressed Alt plus Shift, and then when I am using or when I am scaling this, it is scaling all the sides equally. So this will help you and not getting the object pixelized. So remember, Alt plus Shift, and then left mouse option for moving. For example, let us see. See, if you can see here, what is happening, both sides is getting transformed. That is the best thing in transformation. Alright. Okay. And so this is what we have done. So transforming, always make sure when you are transforming, Alt plus Shift plus left mouse button. Transform equally. Okay, so these are the shortcuts. People, please note it down if possible. This will help you in making you understand. Right, so this is the heading, and I think everybody remembered the fundamentals of computers that we have been talking. I think everybody have remembered the word. So I want to give a heading here. So I'll basically, create a nice heading. Right. So this is what I can remember. These are the shortcuts, if I can say. Shortcuts. So what I'll do, I'll select this, go here, select this. Okay, so these are the shortcuts and these are the tools that we have been learning. Right, people? So please make sure you note it down if you want to. So now let us go back to Photoshop, and we are at the transformation, isn't it? So I'll select this again, and if you right click here, you have transforming options. You have free transform, you have scale, you have rotate, you have skew, you have distort, you have perspective, you have rotate 180, you have rotate 90, you have rotate 90, you have flip horizontal, you have flip vertical. So people, I'll give an example. So if you can see here, see this, there is a cut, isn't it? So you want this cut to happen to be this side and this roundness to come here. Okay, so you have to basically flip this image. So how I'll flip this image, I'll show you now. I'm just pressing Ctrl T, right clicking it, and I am just flipping horizontally. So what have happened here? The cut have happen to go this side, I'll show you. See, right? If you want, I'll replace it again, Ctrl T. See, actually it was like this before, and now after I have done this, it have gone this side, right? Easy to remember, right? So I'm putting back. And always press enter for this transformation to exit. Without pressing the enter, it won't go. So let us come back to the normal, Ctrl 0 to come back to the normal size. So do we have any mistakes here? Yes, this is little more occupying the paper. So let us turn that. Yeah. So we have done that, and let us select this, and let us move a little forward. So now this little good, isn't it? So that's what we have done. So today we have basically worked on the digital headings, how we can do it, and how we can basically work on digital headings and designing things and all. So so now when I go for background, I just want you to, okay, let us not go quickly to the other tool. So let us only be at the mark tool and the selection tool. So today we have done both of it. And people, we also have next tool, that is lasso tool. Lasso tool have three main tools here. The first one is lasso tool, then we have polygonal lasso tool, and then you have magnetic lasso tool. So tomorrow I'll tell you about these guys, because the entertainment of the Photoshop session will happen to be from these lasso tools, polygonal lasso tool and magnetic lasso tool. Because these tools, by this help of these tools, you can cut any image, you can put anything on anywhere. So this is the most important thing that you have to remember. And these lasso tools will also help you in cutting any of the object. You take an aeroplane flying in the sky, and you can cut the aeroplane, and you can get that aeroplane into a place where there is a road. There's a lot of entertainment thing that can happen. So this all entertainment sessions of the Photoshop, and everybody wants to cut each face and put it to another face, etc., can all happen in the Photoshop, right? So tomorrow we'll be learning about the lasso tool, which is very important and very energetic tool, and a lot of fun loving tool. So tomorrow I'll be showing you that. And thank you so much for listening to the class. I hope you understood the shortcuts and the tools that we have learned today. So keep practicing this, and tomorrow we'll be learning about the Photoshop mode. Alright, thank you so much for the class, and I am from APSSDC, and I am Kranth. Thank you.